There are no buys this week. It's also the fantasy playoffs. This is basically the first part of Fantasy Friday right here on this Fantasy Football Almost Daily podcast. You need to know who to start in every game, and that starts with the Thursday night contest between the Falcons and the Bucs. Then on Friday, it's the full Fantasy Friday on Fantasy Football Almost Daily. We'll preview all 15 of the remaining games, talk about which guys you can roll the dice on, crack a few tough nuts. My friend Trevor Jones and my friend Kent Wyrock will join me this week. You won't want to miss it, especially if you're in the fantasy playoffs. Tell your friends and neighbors to tune in. They got to get here. Fantasy Football Almost Daily is also brought to you by Fanball. There's a Fanball 5x5 contest up right now for the Thursday night Falcons Bucs game. It's only $5 to play. We'll preview that game on this episode. By the way, all the players on sale. There's nobody that you want in the $5 range. They're just fill up on 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'd go check it out. Today's episode also brought to you by Game Blazers. Try Game Blazers this week to win your share of $36,000 in prizes in free-to-play contests. You can sign up with referral code FFAD for free. You get a free starter pack. You get a free rare pack. You can start building lineups today. Learn more at GameBlazers.com. Today, I'm going to preview the Thursday night contest between the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But first, Tate's intro music.
From the Sports Hub Games Network, this is Fantasy Football Almost Daily with your host, Matt Harrison.
All right, guys, it's Matt Harrison back again. You can find me on Twitter or Blue Sky at Explosive Output. I've got a Twitter post up right now talking about Lightning Round. If you want to be a part of the Lightning Round this week on Fantasy Friday, go over to Explosive Output on Twitter, find my tweet, and throw your hardest decision between two players in the comments below there, and we'll see if we can get to you. Help you out a little bit this week. You could help us out. If you're listening to this podcast, rate it, review it, follow, like, subscribe, 5 stars, all the things. Comments are good too. Who knows? We might respond to you on those comments. But we're here to get the Thursday night game in. Let's see what we're gonna do for this podcast here. I'm excited because it's retro jersey night in Tampa. The old Falcon is on the red helmets. Bucko Bruce and the creamsicle uniforms are there for Tampa. I'm excited to see this clash of two uniform titans here. And we'll start on the Falcons side as we preview the game here. And we'll do it with Bijan. He's a gold grade in this game. Another 22 touches last week for Bijan, and he was in a really tough matchup against the Seahawks. This is a much easier test against Tampa. The Bucs have allowed 15 PPR points 7 times in the last 8 games to an opposing running back, which includes Devin Neal going for 84 combo yards and a score last week on 20 touches. And that right there seems like the floor for Bijan, and his ceiling is obviously what he did in week 13, where he hit 193 combo yards and a score. And he might be the most targeted player in the passing game this week as well, because Drake London, he's not going to go. And Kyle Pitts is questionable with a knee injury. I'll get to him a little bit later. And the rest of the wide receivers are dog doo-doo. Kirk Cousins in the passing game are definitely tricky, though. I'll throw a bronze grade on Cousins. I don't think many people are starting him in a fantasy playoff week. And I think that's about as high as we can go at this moment in time. In his last 3 starts since Penix went down, he's averaging 198 yards and a score per game. That's not very good. But the Bucs matchup is super juicy. Last week, Tyler Shuck gouged the Bucs on the ground, which Cousins won't do. But before that, Tampa Bay had allowed at least 270 passing yards and multiple touchdowns to each of the previous 4 quarterbacks they faced. So it's a starting grade for Cousins. It's bronze, not great, but it's there. If Kyle Pitts goes, he's questionable with a knee injury. He's probably the most reliable passing option next to Bijan. He's hit 82 and 90 yards in the last 2 weeks on 18 targets over that time. The Bucs are middle of the pack against the tight end, but Pitts is about it for options for Cousins. It's going to be Bijan and it's going to be Pitts because, like I said, the rest of the wide receiver is not good. Darnell Mooney, I guess, if Pitts is out, could be startable, but who's going to start Darnell Mooney in a fantasy week or in a playoff week where you need those points? Mooney's only managed 3 catches for 31 scoreless yards over the last 2 games combined, so I'm not very excited about him. Someone named Dylan Drummond led wide receivers in targets last week. David Sills is also heavily involved in the passing game. He didn't catch any of his 4 targets last week. They just signed Malik Heath from the Packers. This might be the worst wide receiver group in the league right now, and they got a great matchup this week, so it's all for waste. On the Bucs side, it looks like Mike Evans is going to return on Thursday night. They've activated him from IR. He had a collarbone injury, so I assume he's ready. There's not much risk for re-injury here, and he should be pretty fresh. His legs are going to be in pretty good shape. It's not like he has to learn how to cut on a weird knee or risk the hamstring injury or anything like that. So right out of the gate, I'll throw a silver grade on Evans. And we'll go silver on both Godwin and Egbuka as well. Each of these guys gets to the slot about 30% of the time, and they move all over the field. They're always somewhere else. The slot matchup is the best against the Falcons. That way you're going against D. Alford, who comes in at Pro Football Focus's number 100 cornerback out of 111. But on the outsides, Mike Hughes and A.J. Terrell, they aren't much better. They're 73 and 72 respectively. The Falcons have been roasted in the passing game since week 8. 12 different wide receivers have hit the double-digit PPR mark in those 7 weeks, which includes 28 points to JSN last week, 24 to A.D. Mitchell the week before, 33 to Tet McMillan in week 11. There's plenty to go around here. So silver grades for all the receivers. But the concern with the silver grades is Baker Mayfield hasn't been good for well over a month. In fact, it's been 6 games since he's been pretty bad. He's hit the 200-yard mark only once in those 6 games. Multiple touchdown passes also only once in those 6 games. Now, they have reduced the pass plays on offense, and maybe it's because Baker's left shoulder, his non-throwing shoulder, was hurt. Maybe it's because Tristan Wirfs, his all-world left tackle, was out for a couple of games. Or maybe it's because Mike Evans had been out, but Wirfs is back this week, and Evans is back this week, and Bucky Irving's back for a 3rd week in a row. And Baker's looking at his best matchup that he's seen since week 7. So if you are a no risk it, no biscuit kind of guy or girl, this is one of those matchups where I think you throw Baker Mayfield in. I'm giving him a silver grade. The Falcons have allowed 240 yards or multiple scores to 7 straight quarterbacks. That list includes Tua, Tyler Shuck, Bryce Young, Tyrod Taylor. All guys who may or may not be full-time starters next year. So I think Baker Mayfield's a silver grade in this one. You're not going to start Cade Otton. Too many receivers are back, and he's doubtful to play anyway. And finally, Bucky Irving. I'll give him a silver grade as well. I wanted to give him a pewter just because of their helmet color most of the time, but silver is a little bit better than pewter. Since he's returned 19 touches and 17 touches for Bucky, he's scored in both games. He's had exactly 16.1 PPR points in both of those games. But last week, Rachaad White had 12 touches, and Sean Tucker had 7, and he vultured a touchdown. The Falcons are a little worse than average against runners, but a lot of that's been weighed down by 2 absolutely ginormous days. Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey both played this team. CMC had 31 touches. JT had 35. Both scored tons of points against Atlanta. And Bucky won't hit that workload. He's not going to get over 30 touches. But the guys who've been at the 17 to 20 touch range against the Falcons, at least in the last 2 months, they've got about 15 to 20 PPR points. Those are guys like Breece Hall, Rico Dowdle, Travion Henderson, Devon Achane. Those guys are all in the range of Bucky Irving right now, I think. And that's where they landed in the last 2 months against Atlanta. And 15 to 20 PPR points, that's solid enough for a silver grade for me. Now, both Tucker and White, they're good options when Bucky's out, but this is the playoffs, man. You're not starting either of those guys, so just don't do it. And that is the whole matchup between the Falcons and the Bucs. I'll give you a quick reminder on Game Blazers. There's $36,000 in free roll contests available, prizes in free roll contests available right now. And they announced another special $40,000 prize pool for contests for Christmas week. That means we have over $100,000 up for grabs from now until the end of week 17. They go through the playoffs. If you haven't tried Game Blazers yet, it's definitely not too late to get started. It's free to get started. Use referral code FFAD when you register. They'll give you a free rare pack, which is kind of nice to have. I play it a little bit on our internal contest. Those rare packs are pretty nice. And then you can do a spend 5, get 50 offer. It'll get you 2 more rare packs for $5. That's not bad at all. Download Game Blazers today. Give it a shot. I think you'll enjoy it. We'll be back tomorrow with another show with Trevor Jones as we preview this week's favorite DFS plays. I can't wait. Trevor is on fire as always. I did a lot better last week than I did in week 13. Can't wait to talk to you about our DFS plays for this week on tomorrow's Fantasy Football Almost Daily.
This was Fantasy Football Almost Daily. Please subscribe and give us a 5-star rating wherever you listen to podcasts.